everything is quite cool. I'm happy to have a new show with you. It's right about time for some tactics. I really missed them since last
Yes.
week. We managed to really break through the 2,500 rating
Yes.
with the help of Leon. It was such a fun episode. If you haven't watched it, it's all in the description below in the playlist. It's worth taking a look at. It was, yeah, we had a lot of laughs
It was a lot
together.
of, but we had a couple of really
Oh
difficult
yeah,
problems, didn't we? The two big tactics that we spent a long time on. It even, and
absolutely.
Leon is 2560, 2570,
Yeah,
so really tough.
absolutely. Yeah, we were. I mean, I had to forward a lot of our thinking process because we were just like all thinking and thinking and thinking. And I hope you are doing the same. So you always have to pause the video and think for yourself. And it can take. We took, I think, for one of
20
those
minutes at
15
least.
to 20 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
surely. So it is, but it's so much. It's so satisfying if you get it. And we were three people, so after all, it's very difficult. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah. So what is going to happen here? This is already a tactic I can see, but whom are we
Oh,
talking about? Oh.
uh-oh. Well, that's annoying, isn't it? We'll put that back on the board. Do you want to start again, Arne?
Oh shit.
Or
Yeah.
should we just carry on?
No,
It was only 1 minute. Let's start again very quickly.
okay.
Okay, so we'll do this. Sorry. Sorry.
Lawrence
Arne,
Trent's
pleasure to be here.
Trent's Tactics is back
We are back.
after last week when we finally broke through the 2,500 rating wall.
We did.
Only with the help of Leon, unfortunately, but it was such a blast. It was such a nice show, and you at home, you can see everything in the YouTube description. We have the links for the playlist. It's worth watching if you haven't watched it yet. And of course, all those games which you can see on the left side here, you can see on the ChessBase news page, and you have to think about it for yourselves because that's a training here.
It is.
That's what we're having here. And then, yeah, in the last episode, we were thinking for 15-20 minutes at least for something. So stop the video and think for yourself. It's a great training. And yeah, happy we have that again, Lawrence.
Yeah, I hope we have that. Leon was absolutely great. He's a joy to be around. He's a joy
Truly,
to
yeah.
analyze chess with. Great young guy, very talented. Looking forward to seeing his progression.
Actually, you know what? I just remember something. Maybe we can pinch this in too after our theme today, because I wanted to take a look at your tactics from the Hamburg tournament. Maybe we can get this one tactic later on.
Which one? The one against the one against Karlstedt?
Well, there were two really quite nice ones, to be precise, right? Yeah, I think the one with Karlstedt was my favorite. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I know the result. I know the move, of course, but yeah, so as I just mentioned, Matthias Wöhnweber, our founder of ChessBase, he posted this on Twitter because he was also flabbergasted about what was going on here. So you have to understand that Lawrence is white in this position, and it looks scary. So the first time I saw this position, I was like, wow, oh no, you're getting beaten here heavily. But if you think about it for a little moment, then you realize actually, first of all, you're defending every single spot very well.
Yes.
And then it doesn't matter at all anyway, because you have a beautiful way to unwrap this business. So stop the video now for you at home if you haven't seen it yet. And you can continue. So I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
When did you realize? Because I believe from the moves that you made before that you saw this a little bit earlier already. And how was your time situation together?
Yeah. So yeah, nice bit of context. The game was an unbelievable game. First of all, Jonathan actually sacrificed his queen when we were in the time scramble before move 40. It looked very scary. I declined it and I went in for just winning an exchange. And I kind of misassessed that. And I ended up in a very, very tough position. As you can see here, this was the sort of position I found myself in, where all the black pieces are next to my king. And I'm fortunate enough to be covering these squares here on F2, G2, and H2. Of course, if the queen lands on any of them, it's going to be mate. So luckily, I'm covering everything. And it dawned on me basically after move 40 that I was playing for nothing more than a draw. In fact, I offered him a draw at some point, even after move 40. But Jonathan quickly realized that he wasn't risking anything if he didn't go completely insane. So my last move, in fact, if we just go back one move. So in this position, I brought my rook back to F1, and he played the move bishop to F3, trying to squeeze me. And it was around here where I saw this idea, where after the move H takes G5, I believe that black has only got one reply, and I believe that reply still leads to a draw. But I had seen the idea, not much before this, but on this move. Time-wise, around here, we were already getting low. So it's move 52, and we were already just on minutes, basically.
Okay.
So I set it up. And the reason why this move H takes G5 is a good move is because if black plays the move which I expected, which is bishop takes G5, now the move bishop into E3 check is a nasty threat. It's a winning threat, actually, just threatens to mate in a few moves. So the problem with this is that if I take the bishop, which is the natural move, and after king takes bishop, it looks as though it's still good for, that I've got something. But after queen H4 check, the very simple king H6 can be played. And I have no more checks.
Yeah, and there's the threat of G2. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I come back, he has the same thing with queen E3 check, and it's the end of the game. The king can't go anywhere, and it's mate.
Oh, gosh.
Actually, after the move bishop takes G5, white has only got one move here. But it is good enough to hold a draw. So what is that move, actually, Arne? Let's do this.
Ooh, is it bishop F4? Oh.
Sorry. Well, bishop F4 doesn't really change anything, right? Because black takes, and still has this check.
Yes,
it's the same
true
concept. So black just wants to exchange the dark square bishops and give this check. I thought you were going to say bishop F something. And
F7, yeah. You were calculating that I'm better than I am, actually, unfortunately.
No, but bishop, of course, you have to get into, but bishop F7 is the way. And the point is that
true.
After king takes F7, okay, firstly, I might be able to take this bishop off here. That might be a move. Although that might still be a bit unclear, but I can also
just give the check.
Give the check, yeah. But this is not completely clear. For example, after check, where does the black king go? Because he's still threatening mate. Yeah, many options. But if he walks on a dark square, I'm going to take the check. And if he goes here, believe it or not, I believe that it might be drawish after queen E8 check. This is what I had seen potentially. And I've got checks in various ways.
Yeah.
I was not sure about it at all. Also, a check here doesn't look like it draws because the knight can drop back and suddenly this mate on G2. But apparently in this position, I've got this cute move, rook F2, which is very, very strong, just stopping mate. And, oh no, that doesn't seem to work.
No,
See, I'm going there. He can give check, and now he can give check here.
Can you take with the bishop? No, it's going to be difficult. At least a draw, it looks like, right?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure, but I had to go for this. And this is what I was preparing for, to go in for this. Now,
fair enough. But it had.
So Johnny, of course, saw
something
that.
Else happened, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny, of course, saw that, and he probably was, he was, because I had outplayed him in the middle game.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I had outplayed him in the middle game, and when you're on the back foot, let me just get 1 second. I'll be right back.
Poor Lawrence, fighting with his allergies.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
So when you're on the back foot for the whole game or most of the game, and then suddenly the tables turn and then you're suddenly on the front foot and you're pressing, it's very hard just to accept a draw all of a sudden.
Yes.
So I set this move up and he played the move that I was praying he was going to play. Now, this is a very logical move because now if I go bishop f7 check, his idea is that he wanted to just ignore it and play king g7.
Okay.
And now I can't take the pawn because it's mate.
Yeah.
And if I do something else like bishop takes here, I'm pretty sure his idea now was something along the lines of bishop to e1 or something like that.
Oh, that looks rough.
Well, I might be able to take the knight here. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it gets complicated. Maybe he can even take now, actually. Maybe he can even take and just run away somewhere decent. It's possible. You know, he might be able to just start running with the king. It's not completely clear. It's a much better version than the other line.
Yeah.
He keeps the piece, right?
Sure.
But all of this doesn't really matter because this is where I found one of my prettiest checkmates for sure.
Yeah, it is absolutely. So, okay, it's time to solve this because you had enough time to think about the position. It's on the board anyway, as you can see it in the news article. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So well done if you saw it. It's the brilliant queen takes h5. Okay, brilliant maybe a bit too much.
It's lovely. It really is.
But it is lovely. And the point is, of course, that I'm giving up the queen. If the king goes back, I just come in check and it's mate on g8. And of course, if he takes my queen, the whole point is I've got one of the prettiest checkmates you'll see for a long time, bishop f7. I mean, it really is a pretty move.
But you know, what I'm really glad about is that finally our tactics training, which I'm having with you, pays off, Lawrence.
It did. It really did. I mean, when he played, I had already seen it in advance.
Yeah.
I probably had something like 45 seconds left on my clock. So I didn't play queen takes h5 immediately. I double and triple checked.
Yes, you have.
You always got to do that when you sacrifice your queen.
To.
When I played it, Jonathan looked at me and he was very kind because he could have played on, but he decided that it was the sportsman-like thing to do to actually allow me to give the checkmate.
Yeah, you have to give him credit for that. That's true.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Thanks for showing this, Lawrence. Yeah, this was this was. I really wanted to show this to you guys at home because I'm very proud of you, Lawrence.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Now let's get into what we're talking about for real. So yeah, what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about, or the focus of attention is, as people have been following over the past few weeks, we've been taking a player from history, a famous player, and looking at some of their moments, tactics in their own games. And today it's the legendary Alexander Kotov. Now, do you know much about Alexander?
I am afraid
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure if I heard the name for the first time. That would be too much. I probably heard of him, but I know I wouldn't even know probably Russian, but that would be a guess, and I don't know anything.
Yeah, well, he was Soviet, so he was born in the Soviet Union and was a top grandmaster. But he was really, I mean, apart from being a great player, of course, he won many very, very good tournaments in his time, played for the Soviet Olympic team. But really what he's most famous for are a couple of books that he published in chess. One is Play Like a Grandmaster and one is Think Like a Grandmaster.
Okay, it's two books you probably read recently.
Well, I haven't read them recently, but
you read them.
I've definitely read parts of them. I've not even read them throughout, especially Think Like a Grandmaster, which is like a classic where, you know, it talks about, it gives the blueprint for how to analyze and calculate, choose candidate moves, and analysis trees, all of that, as was taught in the Soviet Union in the 70s.
Oh.
So the methodology, think like a grandmaster, which is all about, candidate moves, planning, assessment, the core things about chess. There are some still very useful parts of that book. But I personally prefer other methods in my own classes.
I see.
I choose different things, but it is a legendary book, and it is one of the most important books ever produced in chess. So Alexander Kotov has already earned his place in the Chess Hall of Fame.
Okay.
His games aren't that well known per se. I mean, like, he hasn't got a standout. From what I can remember, he hasn't got a standout, classic game, let's say.
Okay.
Not that I can. Maybe he has got one game. I think he played Averbach in '53. Actually, it might have been in the candidates. Now that I think about it, I think he played in the Zurich candidate, the famous Zurich 1953 candidate.
Okay.
And I do remember he had a queen sacrifice against Averbach. So that was actually perhaps one. Yes, he had a queen sacrifice and then the king walks in. So I do remember he does have one game. But of course, he played a number of tactics. Now let's start with a position which is, a bit more, it's slightly easier to get us going. So this is Kotov against Burrell in Stockholm 1959. Black has just played bishop takes d5. And of course, the question is, how do we recapture here with white and why? So...
Okay. So for you at home,
yes.
If you haven't done it already, like a couple of minutes ago, stop the video now, take a think for yourself, calculate, have some fun doing this. This is our training right now, so let's go for it. Now, I have to admit I know the first move because I saw it already when we played it. So,
okay.
But I have to still calculate how the continuation is for this. So I will reveal the first move is queen takes to d5. And it is unusual because it just looks like, okay, you win a piece back right now. And
this is very simple. In fact, this is just a warm-up. It doesn't really matter how you take on d5, actually.
Oh, okay. So, I probably would have taken with the bishop. But yeah, the queen takes.
Bishop takes is maybe even better. But yeah, queen takes is also fine. Black has to actually, no, maybe actually there might be a difference, actually.
Yes, because the queen is threatening the check on f7 if the king goes to g7, right?
Yeah. Yes. So the king can't come here because then the king comes out and the bishop is lost. So you have to take back with the queen. And after bishop takes d5 check, king g7, we reach this position. So this is fairly standard.
Yeah.
And this is where this is going to be amazing for you.
Oh.
This is going to be amazing.
Okay,
so here, white to play. White has got a clear move.
A clear move?
Well, I mean, the knight is being attacked.
It looks as if it's d7, knight to d7, but...
Really?
No. It isn't clear. Oh,
That's not the first move I look at.
That's not the first move. Is it? Okay, yeah. Okay, there's this check on d4, which is annoying. So, okay. I see it. It's knight taking on c6, right?
Yeah, I mean, knight takes c6,
okay.
Of course.
Pardon.
And the point is that after b takes c6, bishop takes c6. Bishop takes b2. You can just move. And when the bishop gives check, you can just go. And white wins an exchange, right? Simple.
Is it that easy? Wow. Yeah, it is, I guess. Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the problem is...
Oh, no, I knew there was a problem.
Yeah, there is a problem. The problem is that Kotov actually completely missed an unbelievable resource. So I'm going to ask you guys to stop the video. But in this line here, after king g7, knight takes c6. What is the resource that Kotov missed? Very unusual for Kotov to miss this as well. And it's a really, really, really unbelievable resource. So stop the video and give yourselves a chance to try this one out.
Wow, okay. So now I'm curious. Can you flip the board maybe?
Yep.
Thank you. So for you at home, by the way, if you ever want to flip the board with one key, it is it's F, right? Or Shift and F?
Control F.
Control F, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a general flaw I have because I can never know what Shift, Control, and Alt is until I see it on the keyboard, and then I can manage to do so. So what can Black do to get out of this miserable situation? Very interesting. I don't see it immediately.
Yeah.
But is it just something like... No, this I don't see. I mean, it should be something which is kind of a threat, right?
No, that's the point. It's not. That's the unbelievable thing. It's not a threat.
Oh, this is so funky.
It's completely unbelievable as well. Okay, so let's just get a context.
Oh, okay. I see an idea, if I may say. I see that the knight only has one spot to go to, which is a5.
Good.
So what happens if the bishop takes b2 and then goes to c3?
No, but then he's going to take b7, yeah? Bishop takes b2, rook b1.
Okay, so we leave the bishop there, yeah? That's a bit quick. So what about, how can we attack the bishop, or how can we do something? Well, so I'm thinking, my intuition is rook e2. But
I mean, that's certainly a move, but I mean, we are a piece down, and in the worst case, what if he just goes knight a5?
True. Okay.
You know, we don't have much.
So there has to be something a bit more funny. Is it b6?
Well, b6, unfortunately, now I mean, in the worst case, the knight can move.
Now the knight can actually move there. Yeah, that's a stupid. Okay. No, I don't get it.
You're on the right track.
Wow.
You're on the right track.
Yeah, at least I saw this a5 spot, but not sure how to. No, you have to solve it, please.
Okay. Well, you've actually said it. Incredibly, in this position here, Kotov missed that Black can go over. And unbelievable.
Gosh.
This position is just equal. Because
the knight cannot move.
The knight is stuck. And if you, for example, I mean, I don't know, let's say you play... What move do you want to play here? Let's say you just go rook a d1.
Yeah.
Well, now
your rook
Black's idea, you can just move this rook, and you're going to take this pawn next, this knight on the next.
Yeah.
And it's a dead draw.
Crazy.
Unbelievable tactic. Look at this resource. The knight trapped on c6.
Beautiful.
You don't see that every day. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Couldn't find it. Wow. Disappointed.
Yeah, well, Kotov also missed it, and as did his opponent,
tricky.
which actually means at the very beginning that the correct answer is to play bishop takes d5. And now after king g7, knight takes c6, the difference, of course, is we're now threatening the queen, right? So this position is just over.
Oh,
and if takes, it's a similar situation. But we win an exchange.
It was all a setup, Lawrence.
So even the great Kotov can make a blunder like that.
That was an
Okay.
interesting approach. Something different, right? We
Yeah.
think about like, okay, these are the winning moves, but you were taking a detour and showing us something very nice here. Interesting. Yeah, good to know. Okay, next one.
All right, next game. So this game here is the game Kotov against Udovic from 1939 in the USSR.
Okay.
So Kotov at this time would have been probably around the age of 20, I think, something like that.
Young fellow.
And it's white to play. So obviously the situation is quite clear. The black king is in the center, the white rooks are there, and white has got an attack. But black has got control of some key squares, and the knockout blow, it feels like you have to be precise here to get the knockout blow. So that's your task. So how do we start this? What moves do we look for first? And talk to me about the process. And also people at home, of course.
Yes. So, of course, as we already know, as you have seen many of Trent's Tactics episodes before, I assume you're checking out the checks. That's what I have done immediately. So queen checks are not very satisfying for now because every time the queen is just taken. But for the knight checks, there's one interesting move, which is the one knight f5. Because only the pawn can take back if black decides to take back. And that gives us a different situation because now the queen can check on g5.
Beautiful. Okay.
And the king doesn't have many moves left here, as I can see. So, I mean, the pawn can go in between.
Yeah, the pawn can block.
Boop, boop, boop. The pawn can block. There's another check on g7. The bishop goes in between. So there's like a whole line. I think, no, this is not working.
This might actually require a bit of calculation, right? This is not easy.
This might, yeah.
So we could be silent here and we could let you give it a go as well.
Yeah. So, oh. I don't want to postpone the show too much, but
let's put it on. Let's walk it through.
But I would play the knight to f5 and just go for it.
And now you said you correctly followed up with the check, which correctly in terms of the process.
I found another move though.
Oh, okay.
Instead of the check.
Okay, well, let's do one by one, right? So check, and now you said here, check, and the bishop blocks. Now, does this look like it's been successful for white?
No.
No, right? It's clear that black has actually got reasonably well organized. We've got no more checks. We're a piece down. He's organized. So
here comes my attempt. Knight f5, check.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, forget it.
No,
I just saw something which is not working.
Well, you might find something that does work.
I just blundered a whole piece. I thought rook d6 would be interesting, but the rook.
Well, it is, but your eyes are in the right place. It is interesting.
Yeah, but the queen just takes the rook and.
Well, hold on a second. So, if the queen could land here.
Yes.
Without this queen being here.
Yes.
It'd be mate.
Yes.
That's often what you have to look at. So if you see like a check and you're like, I can't do that. But if I were able to give the check, it would be mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then how to get the queen away from there? Okay. Rook f5.
F5. There we go. Now. Now we're cooking. Now, if the queen takes the rook, the queen lands on d6. Okay, so the queen has to try and stay in control of that square. So what if the queen drops all the way back to c7?
I think now the queen to g5 check is working,
queen,
actually.
Certainly. I mean, now, of course, he can't block with the pawn because it's mate, so the king has to go back.
We follow with queen h6.
Follow the checks always. We know he can't hide this way.
That's another mate.
So the king has to come here.
Another check with the queen, I guess.
Follow the checks. The king comes here. Now, you're in a nice situation because you know you've got a draw.
Yes.
Right? So you know you've got a draw. But this is when you say to yourself, okay, do I have something else? And sometimes that something else is a bit less obvious to a certain extent.
Yeah, okay. So what about the very quiet move? It's not that quiet after all, or is it? Maybe it is. What about c5?
Bingo. c5. Looks extraordinarily strong.
Knight goes to d7, it's the only move.
Yep.
And here, I think I can give another check on h8.
Well, I mean, you can give a check on h8. There might even be something better, right?
And I mean, after taking on h7, I have a lot of force on f7, right?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you could play. That is probably good. This is probably good enough to win.
Yeah.
Also, it's nice that you're X-raying this rook as well.
Yes.
But yeah, just the simple threat of bishop takes f7 is probably good enough. But there are many ways here. For example, giving a check, and then bringing this rook in.
That's even nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, just to pile in.
Yes, that's a good one. F6 is not working. Queen can go to g8 then, and that should do the trick too. Yeah, there's a lot of ways. Nice.
A lot of ways, yeah.
Beautiful.
Now, that wins. It's not the way that Kotov went, actually.
Oh, again.
Enough. But it doesn't matter because that is a winning variation. But Kotov played something in a similar vein. He went rook f5.
I looked at this earlier too. But
with the concept that the knight on f5 actually controls a bunch of key squares. For example, after e takes f5, knight takes f5 check. This is the same mate. And if the queen comes back this way, sorry, after knight f5 check, sorry, the king can't come back because this is mate. Right? So the king has to come out here. And now Kotov just followed the checks. Okay, so which check did he?
I guess it's still queen g7 check. Oh, it isn't. So it is rook d6. No,
yeah,
rook, is it?
Yeah,
because rook
d6
goes in between.
Well, if the rook goes in between, now I can see that this bishop is going to be giving checks this way. So this feels like it's going to be mate via something like.
Okay, so now g7, bishop c2.
Bishop c2.
Rook cannot go in between. That's checkmate immediately.
Well, it's not quite checkmate.
Isn't it? Queen f7, f6? No,
Queen f6, king g4.
Rook f6, actually.
Rook f6, king e5.
And that's discovered.
You've got a discovery. You win the queen, and that's well. There's a back rank checkmate, so you've got to be a little bit.
But no. Queen g5.
King
and
d4.
Queen d2 checkmate. No, my goodness.
And king back to e5. But what you could do is, I mean, here I would force the king down the board. I wouldn't even think about it. I would force the king here because I know I've got this check minimum, and I've also got
bishop d1.
Bishop d1. That's beautiful. Look at that. That's actually mate, right?
That it is. That's finally. Nice. Yeah. But then these are those situations where it is just it's mate. It
tends to be mate. But the question is what to do against king takes f5.
We still have. Is that it's queen f3 check?
Yes, queen f3. This is the point because now
that's mate.
Now this is mate. If the king comes this way, we already know that we're doing this bishop d1 stuff, which is going to be mate. For example, here, and here is mate. So After queen f3, you have to block with the rook.
So there's two moves. So of course the bishop c2 check is an option, but
then king e5.
Yeah. Even after g4. So is it just queen h5?
Correct.
Yeah, right? Rook.
Bring that, you really want to force the king down the board if you can. So keep on forcing it. Check.
King e3.
Check. And now you can give a check here.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Because if here now it's mate. And if the king comes here,
it's mate as well. Poof.
So the key lesson here is that when you have these combinations and you have an opportunity to take that king down the board, as long as it's not going away from your pieces, like for example,
if it would go to c6 and b c7 and
or like it manages to go across here, as long as it's going down the board near your pieces, you're normally all right. You're normally all right. So
nice.
Yeah. All right. One more?
Yes, please. And then we jump into some tactics and try to maintain the 2,500.
Let me see which one. Oops.
Cat noises in the background. Don't worry. It's not your cat. You don't have a cat. It's our cats. We have 3. So you will hear a meow every now and then.
Okay.
So
we have this position here. This is Kotov against Kalmanok from Moscow, 1936.
A lot of options.
What's going on here, Arne? What's
so I see a lot of vulnerable
What's going on?
Squares.
So talk to me about the position. How do you assess the position?
I assess that white has a very strong attack against the king, who is left in the middle.
Right. So.
And of course, there's a lot of pawns in the way, but I guess it doesn't matter. I would be very happy with white. Let's say it like this.
So intuitively, you're happy with white, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I mean, this is a position where, if I had this position with white in a blitz game, I would be ecstatic because, I'm not even, what am I? I'm not even a pawn down. It's just equal material.
Yeah.
Okay. So my opponent's king is in the center. It's very difficult for him to get castle, get the king safe. So I'm looking for a knockout blow here. I've got all my pieces in the attack, all my pieces centralized. I'm looking for something that's gonna win. So no checks available that are good, right? These knight jumps. So any captures? No. Well, we have this, but
that doesn't help.
Doesn't help at all. So now we need to look for more normal moves.
We need to make some threats, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be the next thing. So one threat is queen g7, of course, but the rook goes to h7.
Good, yeah, exactly. And now we lose our knight on the next move, which is very unfortunate. Yep.
But yeah, actually, how to so then the next natural move would be probably the knight to g5.
Okay, so knight to g5 is definitely a move here. It's a move that I considered, and it's probably a decent-ish move to keep the momentum going. Like if you played this move in a blitz game, it would be completely understandable. But I'm looking for something even more decisive.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. Think I'm getting there. So If we would just give our knight to get an even stronger attack or a stronger move, I think this is legit. So what if we... So I'm thinking about knight e5 for the moment.
Okay.
The only problem is that even now we cannot...
Queen g7, rook h7 the same, no?
Yeah. But... okay, let's track back. Huh. It's more difficult than I thought. Interesting.
Yes. It's not completely easy. But when you see the move, it becomes very clear very quickly why it's...
Is it just... No, it's not just. But queen e5 is another threat, but it can be stopped with f6.
Queen e5. Also knight g6. It's the queen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Nice.
It's not queen e5. Think again about what I said at the beginning, which is that,
no checks, no threats, no.
But think about the positioning of the pieces. So the king is in the middle, the rooks are there. What do we want? What do we want to do in an ideal world? What is the number one priority?
Checkmate the king.
Yeah. But how? Well, through what manner? How are we going to checkmate that king?
Okay, I gotcha. So we have to maybe even smother the king or something like that.
Not necessarily.
No.
Smother.
Oh, I'm on the wrong.
I mean, smother mates do exist, but it's not quite that. No.
d5 takes. Check. Okay, so what about d5?
There we go.
Because
this is the move.
the threat is clear. If the knight gets taken by the pawn, we play e6, and that is not only a mate threat, but the queen will just fall. And yeah, that's a rook and two knights. But I think white has enough resources to win this. So the rook...
Well,
the
I mean,
knight,
we're only a piece down and we're attacking the queen.
but we're not really a piece down. What happens if the queen takes on d1?
Well, okay, rook takes.
Because the rook takes. The checkmate threat is still
It's
there. So I
mate.
cannot take the knight. Okay, good. That's good enough. Good. So the knight cannot be taken.
Yeah.
So if...
So d5. So the knight can't be taken. So he can't take this way, right?
I don't think so, because it's checkmate.
Correct.
Which is a nice little bullet trick.
So he can only take one way.
So we give the check with the bishop on b5.
Brutal check. Look at this check. Absolutely brutal. He's only got one block.
Yeah. And now, finally, our queen can move into g7, I guess.
Queen g7 probably is good here. Yeah, I would say. Because if rook f8, where is the knockout blow?
Where is the knockout blow? Huh. Have you seen it at home? Where's the knockout blow?
I mean, it's not like some kind of...
I would just... okay,
yeah.
I'd just go to g5 with the knight. And then to h7.
It's a bit convoluted. That's a bit slow.
Okay,
You've got a much better move than that.
Why don't I see it? I'm slow this morning. Damn. That doesn't... Oh! Knight f6, check. Rook takes e6, check.
F takes.
Queen g6, check.
Rook f7.
Queen...
Queen g8, king e7 I've got, unfortunately, there. and you lose.
That is really working? No freaking way. No, this is not working, Lawrence. I'm winning this. I'm mating the king. Put it on the board. I want to.
Okay, so you wanted to go here, 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 here. Yeah, no, I said I'm going.
Gosh. Terrible. What have I? How did I get into this situation? Okay, sorry.
What have you done?
Okay, Lawrence, do you have to solve it for me?
Okay, I mean, basically, you sometimes you just don't need to overthink things. Just the simple 95 is good enough.
Oh gosh, really? Yes.
Just win. Just pin the guy, and then when the bishop has to come back, now you can come in, and after rook f8 here, you've got countless ways to win the position, but the prettiest by far.
Oh boy.
Right.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah.
And now when he takes, you can give check or check the other way. It doesn't really matter. You clear everything and then you give this check here. Beautiful.
No, checkmate. Oh, that's another checkmate. My goodness. So many, two different ways to check.
Yeah, I think the other way is still the same. Because after here, it's the same concept. If you block the queen, I do the same thing. Now,
that's brutal.
That, as an exercise, is a fairly instructive one, because while you were looking at all these queen moves and everything, you lost a little bit of sight of the general picture.
I did.
Which is why I told you at the beginning, have a think about the general picture. What we have here is 2 rooks in the center and a king and a queen. Whenever I see these rooks lined up, the first thing I look at is opening the center.
Yeah.
Opening the central files. So d5 came to me very naturally and very quickly. And then when you see the candidate, it becomes very clear very quickly that the position is just losing for black, because now you have all these jumps and everything else.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Good lesson indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is absolutely a lesson to bear in mind. Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Kotov.
Mr. Kotov knows his stuff.
He has done us proud. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Lawrence, yeah, I think we will do our tactics training session next week, because it took a bit long, but it was important and it was good.
No worries.
Also, I really wanted to check out your game from Hamburg. That was a lot of fun to check that out too.
That was good fun.
Hope you at home enjoyed this too. If so, hey, we won't mind if you like this video, or subscribe to the channel and all of that blah 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 stuff. I'm not doing this very often, so it's okay. I'm doing this right now, right? Okay. So
exactly.
Have a lovely weekend, guys. Till next time. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.